UNDP 親善大使の芦田愛菜です。アフリカの今、未来、そして若者たちをテーマにアフリカの若者文化を代表する2人のクリエイターの方々とトークを通してアフリカ文化の今を学んでいければと思っています。やっぱりなかなか日本にいるとアフリカの文化とかを知る機会がないので
This is the Africa you don't see. This is the Africa you don't hear of.
I think the narrative of Nigeria being poverty center and all of those things. What's the dating culture like in Japan?
日本のデートカルチャーはそうですね。
You don't eat sushi, Korty?
Do you eat sushi?
I'm gonna buy you your first sushi, please.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So nice to meet you. I'm Mana Ashida from Japan. 早速お二人をご紹介します。アフロビート、レゲエアーティストで UNDP 親善大使でもあるパトランキングさん。
彼の楽曲は全世界で10億回以上の再生を記録。さらに音楽と慈善活動への貢献が評価され、フォーブスアフリカ誌の2020年版30歳以下の30人に選出された。
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mana. Hi, Korty. Mana would say, konnichiwa.
こんにちは。Thank you. Thank you for saying. そして映像作家で YouTuber のコーティーさんです。よろしくお願いします。
Hi there. What's popping? Hi.
アフリカの若者文化多様性をテーマにしたドキュメンタリーやインタビューシリーズで知られる彼女は、アフリカ人のストーリーやリアルな葛藤を世界に発信する現代アフリカの新しい語り部の一人。
じゃあまずはじめにパトランキングさんとコーティさんが持つ日本についてのイメージを教えていただけたらなと思います。
The image of Japan that I have is that Japan is very fast, it's very innovative, it's very creative, and you know, it's a world of its own that everybody.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, for me growing up, every single time we hear this product is from Japan, what that means is quality, you know. It's like the first impression we get is this is original, this is quality, you know. But if you're gonna look at where we are with time now, I would say Japan happens to be one of the top hot spots, you know, for tech, you know, for innovations, creativity, even, you know, down to our own space, even our own creative space, you know, from music to art, you know, it's I see that they've got a very big global influence.
日本についてのすごくポジティブなイメージを教えてくださってすごく嬉しく思っています。私のそのアフリカに対するイメージっていうのはなんかこうやっぱりまず自然がすごく豊かなイメージがあってなんかこうキリマンジャロだったりとかビクトリアの滝とかなんか世界の自然遺産がたくさんあって、あとはこう人口が増え続けていてすごく若者が多くて活気のある国がたくさんあって、なんかこうあとはこう思わず体を動かしたくなるようななんかこうそういう音楽だったりとかすごく明るいイメージがあります。
That's nice. Even though there are some beautiful places people don't get to see, don't worry. Korty and I will show you around. We'll definitely show you around. We'll show you the food. We'll show you the culture. We'll show you the dance. We'll show you the lifestyle. You know, beautiful people.
やっぱりなかなか日本にいるとアフリカの文化とかを知る機会がないので本当にたくさん教えていただきたいなと思います。
You're welcome.
じゃあなんかこうアフリカのここがすごいっていうようなお国自慢があったりしますか？
Okay, I think the first thing is that Africa is filled with incredible talent, from music to fashion to film. Over the years, our talent has just continuously putting us at the forefront of the world. Afrobeat is global, Nollywood is getting global. Even our content is crossing borders, and it's very incredible to see. I think that's the one thing that unites all of us. Our incredible and
just to add to what Korty said, Africa, we've got a very beautiful, diverse culture. Aside the fact that we are the most blessed continent in the world in terms of minerals, everything you could think of, in the area of sports we're excelling. If you remember Korea, Japan at the World Cup, you saw Senegal get into the quarterfinals. Yeah, that was the first time. And when it comes to sports as well, we are big, we're heavy. There's so many things and so many places, so many areas to brag about when it comes to Africa. And that's why people like Korty and I were trying to use our platform, our influence, to show the world and tell the world the part of Africa they don't see, the part of Africa they don't hear. I've got a song called "This is the Africa you don't see. This is the Africa you don't hear of."
本当に今お話を聞いてるだけでもすごく多様性があってすごくパワーのあるアフリカっていうイメージがすごく私自身できたので、本当にたくさんの方にそのアフリカの良さだったりとかアフリカの素晴らしいところが伝わるといいなって思います。じゃあちょっと違う質問になるんですが、今とは関係のない質問になるんですが、皆さんの子どもの頃と比べて何か流行について違いを感じることがあったりとかしたら教えていただけませんか？
Yeah, from my childhood, a lot of things has changed. To be honest, I got a very different story. I grew up in a ghetto. I was born in a slum, and I grew up selling on the street of Lagos in Nigeria. I grew up selling with my dad, and when you look at how things were then and now, a lot has really changed. But I tell people that my future, my present is as a result of was as a result of my past. So we've seen a lot of things, and things have changed so fast. Take music for example. How we make music in the past, and how we make music now. There's a whole lot of change. But one thing that won't change is the originality, the substance in what we do. I think that's the only thing that hasn't changed yet. But when you look at then and you look at now, the disparity is very large.
I think Patoranking has said most of everything very accurately as well. One thing that has also helped this change is obviously the internet and being able to cross culture. For example, this a way of life that benefits us. People are making money from the internet right now. You couldn't do that 20 years ago. And yeah, I think that's a significant change between the past and right now.
インターネットってすごく身近なところで世界の人とつながれたりとか世界の文化を知れたりするのってすごく私自身も世界を身近に感じたりとかする面もありますし、またそのインターネットを使ってこうやってね世界の方に自分の国の良さだったりとかを発信できたりとかこうやって今もインターネットでお二人とつながることができているのでそういった面ですごくいろんなことに貢献してくれていますよね、インターネットって。
That's nice.
じゃあお二人がその休日とか夜とかにされているリラックスの方法ってあったりしますか？
That question I would ask Korty first. then I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, man. And then I would answer that. I'll come last.
I probably would just listen to music, watch movies. Those are the main things I'll do when I'm trying to relax.
So, man, how do you relax?
そうですね、私もやっぱりコーティーさんと同じで音楽を聴いたりとか映画やドラマを見たり、あとは日本にはその湯船に浸かるっていう文化があるので、私はすごくそのバスタイムが大好きで、だから湯船に浸かってゆっくりこう考え事をしたりとか音楽を聴いたりしてリラックスしています。
Okay, me, if I wasn't a musician, I would have been a footballer. I play football very well, very, very well, Korty. You need to see that part. I play football, I kill it. So, but if I want to relax, I think I would love to go play football with my friends. But if I'm in a place where I'm out of reach, like I can't get football, I think I'll do movies. Yeah, I'll do movies.
いいですね。映画リラックスできますよね。ちょっと音楽の話も出たところで、パトランキングさんはアフロダンスホールっていうレゲエのジャンルで数々の名曲をリリースされていらっしゃいますが、そのパトランキングさんにとって音楽っていうのはどういうものでしょうか？
アフロビートとはナイジェリアを中心に発達した西アフリカ発祥の音楽ジャンル。独特のリズムとグルーヴが特徴。
Music is everything to me, you know. Music changed my life, you know. Earlier on, I was speaking about the past when you asked the question of what has changed from the past and now. You know, I'm just a young kid from the ghetto, and the only thing I had was, you know, aside my family, I had my voice, you know, and you know. That young boy from the ghetto, as you know, his voice is heard, you know, in different parts of the world. So for me, that is everything. The fact that I'm able to speak for people, I'm able to touch lives, you know, I'm able to be the voice of the voiceless, you know, is everything to me. And music has, you know. Music, I would say, music means life to me. I can't just find one word. I just can't find one line to say, oh, this is how much or how important music is to me. Music is everything to me. You know, with music, I find myself, you know, doing the things I want to do. You know, me being a vessel for change. You know, a vessel for positivity. You know, that is what music has done to me, giving me a platform to be able to say, okay, I want to touch lives. I want to be of service to humanity. That's music. I can go on and on and on and on. You know, I've been able to tell my story with music. With music, I'm speaking to Korty, I'm speaking to Mana. You know, today, you know, with music, there's a collaboration, you know, with the UNDP. Like, so for me, there's a lot it has done, and it never stopped. It's been a big blessing, and I'm thankful to God for music.
すごく素敵なお話を聞かせてくださってありがとうございます。私も日本で役者としてお芝居をしているので、そうやってお芝居をすることでたくさんの人とつながれたり、こうやって、ね、今日お二人ともお話できたりとか、本当にで自分も演じることが大好きですし、なんかそういう私にとってすごくお芝居も私の人生の一つなので、すごくお話を聞いていて何か通ずるところがあったらいいなと思いながらお話を聞いてみました。そんな音楽についてたくさん教えてくださったんですが、パトランキングさんは普段どのようにその音楽作りっていうのをされてるんでしょうか？
So my creative process is very, I tell people, but it's easy. It sounds funny at the same time. It sounds, I don't know. But before I write a song, I visualize what I want to sing about. You know, I just have a visual playing in my head of, you know, I want to talk about life or people suffering. So I just look at people suffering, and then I paint them in my mind. That's where they say music is art, and then you go back to writing. So when I write it, I go back to recording, and I want to shoot a video that is similar to what I first saw. So for me, that's my creative process. But creating music is one of music making is one of the most enjoyable part of the whole thing when it comes to music, because I love to create. I love to try new things, So there is no one way for me when it comes to creating music. Yeah, sometimes I visualize it before I sing it. Sometimes I just feel the music before I sing it.
その映像を思い浮かべてから作るっていうのは初めて聞きました。
Yeah, I have to see the music before I even sing it. Like I have to see what I want to sing about, because in that way it's very easy to connect to the people. Okay, take for example, I know Korty is giving me a face of someone that likes rice. I would say jollof rice. So what I need to do if I want to make a song about jollof rice, I need to look at her face, her mannerism when she's eating, how she's happy, how she makes the rice and everything. And that's what I'll sing about. So when I sing about it, when Korty hears that and sees the video, she could relate easily and say, oh no, he's talking about me. Yeah.
だからこそすごく生き生きとしたミュージックを作られているのかなというふうに今思いました。お話聞かせてくださってありがとうございます。
Thank you.
次はコーティさんに伺いたいんですが、コーティさんは映像作家としてナイジェリアについて発信するときにどんなことを意識されていますか？
Honestly, my focus has changed over the years, but right now I think my main focus is showing a side of the people in Nigeria that the outside world doesn't necessarily see all the time. So it's in how I communicate with artists, athletes, actors, all kinds of people, and show a side of them that both their fans and people globally do not really see. So it's basically putting our culture in the most positive light that I can, because I think the narrative of Nigeria being poverty center and all of those things, I'm trying to reduce that in my own small capacity as much as I can, because there's so many intellectual and brilliant and talented people that the world can see and tap into as well. So those are the things I focus on: putting Nigeria's people, putting our stories in the most positive and impactful light.
事前に実は伺った時にデート文化について発信されているっていうのを伺ったんですけど。
So I have two shows. I have a show called Flow with Korty, and I have a show called Love or Lies. So Flow with Korty is like a interview style documentary, while Love or Lies is like a dating show where we pair young people up. So we paired people from different parts of Nigeria to come together, and different lifestyles and so on. I think the dating culture is very interesting because, just like anywhere in the world, the idea is for you to date to, get married. But yeah, things are changing right now. People still date to marry, but right now people are more concerned about finding stability, which is very important before settling down to marry. Both women and men, everybody wants to have a certain level of both financial, emotional, and mental stability before you settle down into a marriage. So before that, you probably date a couple of people. I think the dating culture is very fun. It can be chaotic, especially in Lagos, but generally it's fun. And yeah.
なんかすごくナイジェリアの方のリアルな生活をたくさん発信されてるんですね。
What's the dating culture like in Japan?
日本のデートカルチャーはそうですね。でもナイジェリアと多分同じところが結構多くて、そうやって何回かデートしてからお付き合いして結婚するっていうパターンもすごく多いと思いますし、そうじゃなくて今はこうなんていうんですかね、結婚がゴールじゃないというか、そうやってさっきおっしゃってたみたいに安らぎだったり心の安定を求めるために一緒にいるんだっていうような方々も増えていると思いますし、すごくそういったライフスタイルの観点からもナイジェリアと日本似てるところがあるかなと思います。
Nice.
じゃあ次はちょっと日本文化についてお聞きしたいんですが、日本文化についてどんな印象を持っていらっしゃいますか？何か日本の文化について知ってることとかあったりされますか？
I think the thing that I know very well about Japanese culture are mostly in entertainment. So, for example, anime, K-drama, K-pop. Although that's Korean drama, Korean pop, but Japanese, anime and music. But yeah, I think those are the main things, and maybe your food. Although I've never really had Japanese food, I've heard a lot about it, and I would love to try it.
Sushi? You don't eat sushi, Korty?
Do you eat sushi?
I'm gonna buy your first sushi, please.
Okay, cool. Okay.
On me, please. Please.
Okay, thank you.
パトランキングさんはどうでしょうか？日本の印象とか文化について知ってることとかあったりされますか？
To be honest, it's one that is that speak for itself, you know. I know Korty made mention of anime, you know. But for me, I think there's quite a lot to learn, which is why I'm looking forward to, you know, going to TCAD and attending TCAD as well, you know. But, you know, when people talk about culture, there's something I believe that comes first before what people consider to be culture, which is love, you know. Yeah, I could see how the people, I would say the first thing before the culture to me that I see in the Japanese people is love. Because when you look at, with the things I've heard, you know, the amount of decency, you know, and also the coordination, the way how people move and things and how they do things in the country. Funny how I was in a studio. I was in a studio in America like 3 months ago, and I had an American telling me about Japan, telling me how, you know, you could move freely at any time of the day. My friend that is a filmmaker, you know, was telling me, listen, I just got back from Japan, Pato. When you come to Japan, film everything, you know. You know, to me, those are the things I would consider as, you know, you know, they are culturally, you know, motivated, you know. So I would really want to learn more about the Japanese culture, because I know there is more to what meets the eyes, you know. Just like ours, because we have ours, we've got different cultures in Nigeria, you know, which hopefully someday, man, we'll get to teach you and we'll get to show you.
ぜひ伺いたいです。さっきコーティさんが言ってくださったみたいに、日本にはそのアニメだったりクールジャパンってこう世界の方がおっしゃってくれているような、なんかそういう可愛い文化だったりとか、すごくかっこいいアニメ文化もたくさんあって、それもすごく私は誇りに思いますし、あとなんかこうお二人にお伝えできたらなと今思ったのが、日本にはそうですね、ちょっとこう訳すのが難しいかもしれないんですけど、わびさびっていう文化があって、 こうすごく間を大事にしたりとかするんですね、日本人って。でなんか不完全だったりとかこうシンプルで簡素なものをむしろ美しいと思ったりとかする気持ちがあって、例えば茶道でこうひびの入ったお茶碗を美しいと思ったりとか、書道でかすれた文字を美しいと思ったりとか、なんかこうそういった心があって、それも日本人ならではのものかなと私は思っています。日本の伝統芸能にもつながるところがあって、例えば歌舞伎だったりとか、聞いたことあるかどうかわからないんですけど、そういう歌舞伎だったり能だったりとか、そういった日本の伝統的なお芝居もすごく間を大事にする文化なので、もちろんそのことで日本人がこう意見を言う時にシャイになってしまったりする部分もあるんですけど、なんかそういったところも日本の良さかなと思うので、もし日本に来られた時はそういったこうわびさび文化をぜひ感じていただけたらいいなと思います。
Oh, thank you. We're looking forward. We're looking forward to a more to a bigger cultural exchange, you know. Also, where Korty and I get to show you our food, you know, our people, our dance, you know, our tradition, you know, how to greet in some cultures. Some cultures you have to do like this. Some you have to do like this. Some you have to lie on the floor. You know, so it'll be nice, you know. I think Korty, we should get Mana some going when we're going to Japan. We should get us some few African prints, you know.
Yeah.
Like gift items, you know.
Okay.
You know, we can have Korty dressed as a Japanese girl and have Mana dressed.
And you dress as a Yoruba babe.
That's nice.
ちなみにナイジェリアではアフリカ神話や伝統をテーマにしたゲームを開発中。人気アニメ制作集団はナルトやドラゴンボールから影響を受けつつアフリカの神話を描いている。
パトランキングさんはこう起業家だったりとかリーダー育成に力を注いでらっしゃるっていうふうに伺ったんですけど、アフリカでは若者の 35% が実業家ということで、それはどのような教育をアフリカの若者の皆さんにされてるんでしょうか。そしてその今後若者たちに必要なことってどんなことでしょうか。
近年アフリカの若者たちは失業や社会課題に直面する中で起業を選択肢として捉え、地域発の解決策を次々に生み出している。ナイジェリア、ケニアなどでは金融、農業、物流、教育、再生可能エネルギーなどの分野で Z 世代起業家たちがスタートアップを創出中。
Thank you very much. You know, for me, I have my background is business. You know, I grew up with my dad doing buying and selling, which is literally business, and that is something I grew up with. You know, that is something I grew up with, and right now, the reality of life is 95% of everything we do is transactional, is business, you know, and it's very important we actually educate ourselves, and most especially the youth, and you know, not just education, also providing tools as well, because you know, for we coming from this part of this world, we are resilient people. We are people that they don't just give us the opportunity. The minute you give us the opportunity, it's done. You know, we are limited to opportunities. And take, for example, in Nigeria right now, you have about 75 million active phone users out of a 250 million population. So it's not even half of the country that is active when it comes to mobile phones, you know? And you know how much the internet is important with modern day business. And when you check the amount of people that has this, when you check the amount of people that has access to the internet is not even up to, let me say, even 50% of the active phone users. So now business are changing, you know, business strategies, business plans are changing. And a lot of people are not being able to make or do business the way they should because they have limited access. So that is the education that needs to be provided. You know, from my own little side is about experience. It's about making them understanding that, listen, you don't have to start big to become big. You start small, you scale up, and you become big. You know, I make them understand that with business, you have to understand that failure is not the end of it. It's part of it. You know, and you see, these are like the important educations you give. You know, and this help them build a strong elite mentality because in reality we are actually limited to a lot of tools that could have made us great. You know, and also that's why doing business in this part of this world is very, very difficult. It feels very different. But when you get it, when you get it right, you've gotten it. So I'm just being realistic about the things I try to pass on to people when I talk about business, you know, when it comes to me. But if you look at the business education in school, it's actually different. But there's school and there's reality. Exactly. So that's just my few cents.
コーティさんは今のそのパトランキングさんの考えを受けて思われることがあったりとか、あるいはそのコーティさん自身は若者たちにどんなことが今必要だと思いますか？
I think is 100% accurate. Already Nigerians have a spirit of hustle. So if you mix that spirit of hustle with some structure and just, you know, fine-tuning what works for you or, you know, where you want to focus on, absolutely nothing is impossible. And like he said, I don't think there's any country in the world where you may try some things and not fail. But failure shouldn't be the thing that, you know, stops you from moving. So I think 100% he's very accurate.
ナイジェリアのアフリカの若者たちっていうのはどういう分野でこう起業したりされてるんですかね？
Oh, right now, okay, let me take that, Korty. Quite a number of young people are looking at, there's the tech space, you know, there's the tech space, you have quite a lot of people going into tech right now because this is where we at. This is, you know, also there's the creative space as well, you know. You have so many people looking in that direction, you know. That's why, like, people like us on the forefront, you know, people like Korty is inspiring a whole different generation entirely, you know. Sometimes they don't know what it takes for her to get things done, like the sacrifices. Now she has to wake like 5 a.m., which is very early in Nigeria, to get ready for this, you know, and I have to do the same. So a lot of youth are looking at the tech, and when it comes to tech, the fintech, agri-tech, you know, so many so many different areas in technology. They're looking at show business as well, which is our space, the creative space as well, because it's relatable. They can actually work from anywhere they are, and because a lot of young people want to enjoy what they are doing, so this is why they look at these areas, you know.
彼らの多くは資金もインフラも限られた環境でスマートフォンと SNS そして情熱を武器に世界に通用するサービスを展開している。
そういった分野はすごく日本の若い世代もすごく興味がある部分だと思うので、お二人の激励がきっと今日本の若い世代にも届いたんじゃないかなというふうに思います。ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
じゃあそろそろお時間のようです。今日は本当にありがとうございました。Thank you for today's conversation. そして日本とアフリカの若者が音楽や映像そして夢でつながっていく未来を信じています。ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. いや、そうですね、お二人のアフリカに対する思いだったり愛も伝わってきましたし、やっぱり日本とすごくなんでしょう、やっぱり物理的距離が遠いからこそ心理的距離も遠くなってしまう部分もあると思うんですけど、なんかこうそうじゃなくてこうやって会話する機会があったりとか、あるいはなんかアフリカも日本とすごく似てるところがあるんだとか、なんか身近に感じられるともっとお互いなんかこうの距離を詰められるような気もしますし、なんかそんな気がして、そんな一歩になれたらいいなと思いました。